A billionaire left his safe wide open, millions in cash, gold stacked to the ceiling. Then he leaned back in his chair and pretended to sleep. Most people thought they knew what would happen next, but what he saw when the maid's little girl walked in left him frozen, ashamed, and forever changed. He was one of the richest men in the city, a man whose signature could build empires or destroy them. But despite all his wealth, he trusted no one. Every deal, every handshake, every smile. In his mind, everyone had a price. Even in his own home, he believed temptation lurked in the shadows. So one afternoon, he created a test. Inside his office, he swung the heavy safe door wide open. Inside lay stacks of fresh cash and shining gold bars, enough to change anyone's life forever. Then he leaned back in his leather chair, closed his eyes, and pretended to drift into sleep. His heart pounded, because this was the moment he had been waiting for. Would honesty still exist in a world built on greed? A few minutes passed. Silence hung heavy in the air. Then came soft footsteps. But it wasn't a thief. It wasn't one of his staff sneaking in. It was the maid's daughter, a child no older than 7. She stopped in the doorway. Her eyes widened as the golden glow from the safe filled the room. For a moment, her innocence collided with temptation. She glanced at the billionaire, slouched in his chair, eyes shut as if asleep. No one was watching. No one would ever know. The billionaire's breath slowed. His heart raced. This was the moment of truth. The little girl stepped closer. Her tiny fingers tugged nervously at her yellow gloves. Her eyes darted between the mountain of gold and the man in the chair. The billionaire, still pretending to sleep, could almost hear the war in her heart. But then, everything changed. Instead of reaching for the money, she pressed her small hands against the heavy steel door and pushed it shut. The sound echoed through the room, a sound that pierced deeper than words. Then, in a soft whisper, meant only for herself, she said, "Mama says we never touch what isn't ours." And with that, she turned and quietly walked away. The billionaire opened his eyes. For years, he believed honesty was extinct, that everyone had a price, and loyalty was nothing more than a word. But in that single moment, a child proved him wrong. Here was someone who had nothing, standing in front of everything. And yet she chose values over temptation. The billionaire felt something he hadn't felt in years: shame. Shame for doubting, shame for testing, and yet something else too: hope. Hope that maybe the world wasn't as corrupt as he thought, that maybe wealth wasn't measured by what sat inside his safe, but by what lived inside people's hearts. That night, he couldn't stop thinking about her words. Never touch what isn't ours. It echoed louder than the vault door, louder than the clinking of gold. This man, who lived surrounded by riches, finally realized the truth. The most valuable treasure isn't money. It isn't gold. It's integrity. And sometimes, the poorest households raise the richest hearts. The world saw a billionaire with more money than he could ever spend. But that day, he saw something far more valuable than wealth. He saw that honesty still exists, and it came from the smallest hands in the room.